What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Welcome. And it is presented by rswrestlingnews.com. So, let's get into it. Today's video, we're going to be discussing The Undertaker, comparisons to Bray Wyatt, and much more. So, let's get into it. So, Taker did an interview with Sportsnet 2 weeks ago, before the Royal Rumble, before WWE broke up the bloodline, everything like that. And he was asked about comparisons to Bray Wyatt, especially after their segment at Raw 30 a few weeks back, January 30th, I believe, when, Taker came out as the American Badass. He interrupted LA Knight. He grabbed Knight by the throat before throwing him to Wyatt. Wyatt laid out Knight with the Sister Abigail. And then Taker whispered something to him in his ear. We couldn't really hear it. Bray Wyatt has since come out and talked about how special that moment was for him. Taker has always been a guy that's been a fan of Bray. He's gone to bat for Bray. WrestleVotes actually came out with a report stating that Taker had told Vince McMahon to look after this kid, following their match at WrestleMania 31, in which Taker went over. Interestingly enough, that was his first match back since suffering the concussion at WrestleMania 30 and the streak being broken. Anyways, so in this interview with Sportsnet, The Undertaker was asked about comparisons, and he does not like the comparisons whatsoever, and rightfully so. He talked about how no one should compare Bray to him. What they did was completely different, and he's 100% right. The Undertaker was a dead dude who came in with a pallbearer that had an urn and no-sold everyone because he was dead. Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, came in as a cult leader. He's not supernatural, although they did try to throw in some types of elements of supernatural. But really, aside from The Undertaker, no one has been able to pull off supernatural stuff, except for him. And if you think about it, The Fiend, that was aside from him being burnt alive, for the most part was pretty much portrayed as a guy that had some serious fucking issues going on in his head. He was psychotic, schizophrenic, not supernatural necessarily. So, I agree. Bray Wyatt should not be compared to The Undertaker. The Undertaker is the only guy that's been able to pull off supernatural. Probably the only guy that will ever be able to do so. So, let's just drop those comparisons.